We had several floating support services that were operating within the county and the contracts were due to come to an end. This gave us an opportunity to recommission the services and to revise the service models that are in place. As a council, we'd always wanted to implement direct payments within supporting people-funded services, and the right to control gave us a brilliant opportunity to do that. It's very important for disabled people to have choice and control. They are the people that best understand their needs, and so they will often be able to come up with the most effective solutions to meet those needs. We wanted to commission a service that had flexibility and the possibility of issuing direct payments to give service users more choice and control. We recognise as commissioners that we don't always know the answers to everybody's issues, and putting service users at the heart of the commissioning process and giving them their own choices enabled better outcomes to be achieved overall. One of our providers has already made 40 direct payments to individuals to help them choose the most effective way to meet their support needs. We're starting to see some really positive outcomes, including people returning to work after long periods of time and people finding creative ways to meet their emotional needs, which reduce their support needs on an ongoing basis. We have an example of one service user who was an alcoholic. He was drinking very heavily and was particularly socially isolated. He was offered a volunteering opportunity to undertake some gardening activity, but didn't have the right equipment that he needed in order to do that. He used his direct payment to purchase necessary footwear and clothing to undertake the volunteering, and as a result reduced his drinking, became less isolated, engaged in work-related activity and improved his health overall. We had another example of a woman whose emotional needs were impacting on her support needs, and she therefore required a significant amount of floating support. Her mother had died a long time ago and had been buried hundreds of miles away. She used her direct payment to actually visit her mother's grave, which was something that she hadn't been able to do. So that gave her closure on some of her life issues and meant that she was more able to deal with day-to-day issues, like managing bills and her tenancy. As a result of that, her support needs significantly reduced and she's now been exited from the service. As a result of the right to control, relationships between partner agencies have greatly improved. It's been a really good opportunity for them to find out more about what each other does, about the service users that they can assist and the outcomes that they can achieve. This has led to a higher number of referrals between agencies and more appropriate referrals being made. The biggest challenge that we had in implementing direct payments and flexible services was actually time. We needed time to implement the large-scale floating support contracts, and it was very difficult to change the way that we were delivering services at the same time. So if we were to do it again, we would certainly allow ourselves more time in order to do that. From the provider's perspective, there were some challenges around changing staff culture and staff training in order to help them think more creatively about the support services that they could deliver, and being able to give service users more choice and control over the services they receive in order to achieve their outcomes. In floating support services within Essex, we have existing service user reference groups. We'll be working with those groups to evaluate the success of the pilot and to determine whether we should look to commission direct payment services in the future.